Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
Yay, I'm
me.
super excited, finally.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So it's funny, I was doing the research and I had no idea you'd been in the business so long. It was like 5, 6 years now?
Yeah, I got my license in 2020, so
Man,
I'm just getting into my fifth year.
what a year
Yeah,
to get into it,
yeah,
too.
I
Was it
know.
early 2020 or like mid?
I was studying before
Mm-hmm.
COVID and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
then COVID happened, and then I started studying for my test,
Okay.
and I got it in July.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right, so let's rewind. I know you're from Cali.
Yes.
Downey?
Yeah, Downey, California.
Where's that?
It's in the midst of a bunch of other little cities. It's like a can of sardines over there,
Huh.
and it is like in Southeast LA area.
Okay. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
cool. And then how did you end up, so you didn't do real estate there, you've only done it here.
No, I didn't do it there, but both my parents were in real estate, so I grew up helping like my dad with probates and going to the courthouse, and my mom was a transaction coordinator. So
Oh,
I was
wow.
familiar, but I never thought I wanted to get into it because I
Yeah.
like also experienced the crash and
Mm.
remember how that went. And then I went to ASU. I was pre-med,
Oh,
and
wow, me
then
too.
I started going into business, and then I just never really finished anything, and then I decided to get my real estate license.
That's killer. I
Yeah.
didn't know about the ASU part, but I did know you went to MCC.
Yeah, yeah. And what's the
Was
other
that
one?
before or like kind of during? Like went to ASU, went to
I went to
MCC.
ASU for a year, and then I moved home for a year, and then I was like, well, I'm never gonna move out. It's way too expensive here.
Uh-huh.
And in California, I went to Long Beach Community College, and then I moved back here so I could move out of my parents' house.
Okay. Yeah. I was all over the place. I was talking to my
Yeah.
wife the other day and I said, a gentleman said he went to MCC or his kid was going to go to MCC. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I went there. And she's like, you went to MCC? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, that was my, like, I went to 1 year. I was like, that was on my academic probation. So I went to ASU for a
Yeah.
year, went on academic probation. And the guy's like, Greg, I had moved all the way from Boston, right? He goes,
Uh-huh.
Greg, you should really go to like the community college and kind of get used to the like less classes, more
Mhm.
engagement, better, the instructors was more personable, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was a great call. And
Yeah,
then
that is how
after
it
like
is.
a year and a half, I finished cheaper. I finished all those prereqs
It's so much cheaper.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a better move.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
definitely.
that's so funny. So then from there, obviously I understand, you then got into real estate because of your parents, but was that why you ended up getting in and making the, like, you never thought you were going to get in because of the crash and stuff, but
I
what finally
never
made you go, hey, I'm going to do it?
I never thought I wanted to do it, and then I had just been working in restaurants, and I never got my degree, but I wanted to be able to make a good amount of money, and I didn't really want to start entry level, and I knew I didn't want anyone to be telling me when I can go on vacation and for how long, and if I'm going to get paid or not, and have all these restrictions on my life. And then it ended up being that real estate was the best fit for me, and I was already comfortable and familiar with it, helping my mom TC. So I just decided to dive into it
It's like a
because why
natural
not?
fit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, like most agents, you go through school. They don't really teach you much in street smarts, as I say,
Mm-mm.
same as LO school. Where did you hang your license with the same, brokerage that your parents were back in Downey, or did you go somewhere
No,
else? Or
I just decided to do my own thing and just get my footing. And I started at HomeSmart, joined a team, but it was a newer team. And then I decided I want some more structure. So then I left and joined a bigger team. And then for a year, I just cold, cold called, did scripts, did everything old school, and just learned everything
Wow.
there. And then
Yep.
once I felt like I was more comfortable, I decided to switch brokerages again.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just made my most recent switch in July to real.
Okay.
Hmm.
Sweet. And how's that been?
It's great. Yeah, I'm on the Living Arizona group, and I am really enjoying my time there, like collaborating and being with other veteran agents. And yeah,
It's a great group.
yeah.
Yeah. And I just like that you jumped on a team. Was it intentional when you graduated to say, hey, I'm gonna like graduated, but got your license that you said, hey, I'm gonna jump on a team to get more experience, et cetera? Or
Ye-
was it,
Yeah, exactly. So I was nervous about just doing it on my own. And I was so young. I was like 22 or 23 when I started. So I was like, no one's going to trust me. Like, I need to be on a team. So, A, I can learn faster, and B, I can just get more comfortable. And so that's what I did.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
think it's a really good point because I was like an admin or an assistant to a top producer for a long
Hmm.
time. And I can't imagine just coming in to just be at LO. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't taught anything.
Yeah.
And just like a realtor coming out, I've taught at the, new agent orientations and things. And I'm like, they don't know. Like
No,
they
you don't
don't
know
know.
anything.
They think like, oh, I'll just hang with that brokerage and I'll be a solo agent and I'll be fine. And they
Yeah.
don't
No,
understand
it's
like that
very
they're not.
overwhelming. I like
Yeah.
wanted some hand holding and just
Mm-hmm.
to see what other people were doing so I could get there faster than figuring it out on my own.
Yeah. I don't
Hmm.
think a lot of people figure that out until later on. And
Yeah.
I don't know, was that part of seeing like your dad's journey and mom's journey in real estate that you already knew like, hey, I need to get on a team?
No, not really. My dad was always just doing his own thing or he had like a partner.
Okay.
Um, but now I don't really need to be on a team at this point in my career, but I really like the collaboration and I like the accountability too. And just having a group of people to always go to for support is all I'm really looking for
Yeah.
because it's like it can get really lonely, I feel like, if you're just by yourself.
I agree. Yeah.
Hmm.
So how is your business structured? Mainly referrals? Like how do you get your business?
I was actually thinking about it the other day, and the past 14 months or so, it's all been sphere and referral, except for one transaction. And
Awesome.
everything kind of switched when I let my guard down on social media and just changed everything to one account and kind of focused on speaking to people I already knew and being top of mind. And now it's happening,
That's
which is
great.
really awesome. That's what everyone wants, right?
Yeah, that's good to
Yeah.
hear. So what was the channel, what did the channels look like before?
Um, I used to have a personal Instagram private, separate.
Okay.
And then I had a real estate one. So it's kind of like starting from scratch because I was kind of didn't want people to judge me for, living a regular life too.
Mm-hmm.
And like again, I was so young, I was like, I just need to separate it. And it was
It's
just too
common.
much to handle. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Once I got my confidence, I want to work with people that, like me for who I am also. So
Yes.
whoever's not about that isn't my person, isn't my client.
Yeah. And you'll attract those people because they'll see your stuff, they
Hmm.
like it, and they come into your world. If they don't like it, they don't even come into your world, so you don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Right?
was worried about like, oh, but like trying to get everyone, but that's,
Yeah. You
everyone
can't.
has a niche and mine's like 25 to 35,
Mm-hmm.
you know, first time home buyers or first time home sellers.
Okay.
Hmm.
So let's go back. So what did your real estate page look like before 14 months
Um,
ago?
the real estate one,
Yeah.
it was just like house tours
Mm-hmm.
and some, photos of houses, like new listing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like the
that was,
cold, inauthentic stuff that
yeah,
people don't really.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
would share that stuff to my personal one anyways
Uh-huh.
to remind them. So I
That
was
used to
like,
be a
I
thing.
just, yeah,
That used to be
yeah,
the thing. Post on your business, share through your personal,
yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
it's just like, I just want it to be more
Now you cut down the
genuine.
walls, and it's like so now you kept the personal page,
Yeah,
and then you just sprinkle real estate stuff in there that you
yeah,
do in real estate.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yes.
I have a, like a 50-50 kind of split, but I share my personal life, like
Mm-hmm.
my cat, everyone knows I have one,
Yes.
and my cooking and the gym and traveling and going to concerts and real estate.
I love it.
That's just who I am.
Yeah. Now, do you have a methodology? So for all the agents that are listening too, like, is there a methodology to the posting? Like, I'm gonna do a couple stories a day. I'm gonna do a reel. I'm gonna do a post. Like, do you have
Um,
any sort of formula that you follow?
my main thing that I always want to make sure I'm doing is posting on my stories and like engaging with other people on their stories.
Yep.
I'm still working on like the consistent like photos and reels for my page,
Okay.
but stories is great because if
Yeah.
you see like 400 people looking at your story, they're they're seeing what you're putting out
Heck
there,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's a good focus for me.
And then with that, so in the stories, you're just posting, like you just said, all those things that you're just doing, like I'm doing
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, so it's like towards my friends and like just hey, I'm in real estate too, just, keep me top of mind so
Yeah,
you
like they know
can
what you
send
do.
me people.
Yeah, they know
But
what
they
you do.
don't like no one wants to see only real estate. No
Hmm.
one wants to see only like one thing. I think it's good to have a like a good variety.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and I'll have people bring up stuff that was like 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
Like, oh, hey, I saw you did the cold plunge. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, wow, okay. Or
You're like, I forgot I did
hey, I saw you went on
that.
that trip. Or
Yeah.
hey, how was that thing? And you're like, yeah, they are watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
how was the game last night? Or
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
good for keeping in touch with your sphere too, and like responding. And when you see them, you can bring up the same things,
exactly.
if you go through what they're doing and pay attention.
Yeah. So when you said that about, that's where I was going, was that you engage with them. So is there specifically like, is it just random that you'll be like, oh, let me check and look and go through the
Yeah, it's
feed and
it's
see
kind
in
of
their stories,
random.
or is it's time blocked that hey, for sure, for 15 or 20 minutes, I'm going in to check stuff.
I'm not quite there yet, but instead of like doom scrolling,
Yes.
I decide to go and like engage and interact with
I
people
like that. Yeah,
to,
yeah.
just not get caught in something mindless and
You're
it's
right.
not going to be beneficial in any
And I'm
way.
so guilty of that. Like
Yeah,
I'll go in and I'm like, and then I just get caught. I'm like, oh
yeah,
man, it's been
everyone
10
is.
minutes. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I like that. And I've tried stuff like put on the timer or, hey, Alexa, set timer for 5 minutes. And then I get dinged. So I'm like, okay,
It's like
stop.
a game then. You're like, how many people
Yeah.
can
Cause,
I?
first, like, you go in for the DMs and then you come out and then obviously you see a story and you're like, oh, and then you just keep going in the stories,
Hmm.
right? And for some though, like the other day I had someone like, oh yeah, I used to see your videos all the time. And I'm like, wait, she doesn't see my videos anymore?
Oh yeah,
Right?
because the algorithm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then we start DMing and I'm
Yeah.
talking to her and she's like, oh, hey, I'm seeing your videos again. I'm like, that's a
Hmm.
thing. So I need to, on purpose, send more DMs to past
Yeah.
clients and things to make sure I'm staying in their feed.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
even someone the other day said, yeah, sometimes when I send out my past client emails, I put a video in there, but the video was posted on my Instagram. And so it drives them from their
Oh, it's
email. They
like
click
a,
on it, opens up
oh, that's
the
smart.
Instagram, right? And
Yeah.
so now I'll show up in their feed for a little while. And like you
Yeah.
said, the key's just top of mind.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like exponentially getting better since I decided to include real estate and then just like lump it all together.
Yeah,
So
I
I
love
think it
that.
can
Plus,
only.
it's a lot easier because
Hmm.
I'm not thinking, oh, let me put my real estate hat on now. I'm just being me.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want it to be so like calculated. It's just, I just
Yeah.
want it to be genuine. Like, this is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing. I have showings. I'm doing this, whatever it may be.
Yeah, it just flows.
Hmm.
Colored my hair today.
Yeah,
Yes. I
exactly.
mean, it's that and it brings up conversations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all different kinds of people too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, okay. So, other than that, is there anything else, 14 months ago, you go all in now on social being one authentic,
Hmm.
account. Um, and then obviously you have others. So, you have Facebook, Instagram. Are you doing anything like TikTok, LinkedIn?
I used to do TikTok, but I kind of fell off
Mm-hmm.
and just started doing Instagram. Because TikTok, I ended up speaking more like to agents and like giving
Oh,
tips and doing things like that. But I was like, I don't know if this is really going to bring me
yeah.
any business. And TikTok to me is a lot more casual, so I would just talk in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had to completely just focus on Instagram
Yeah.
to make it easier in my brain.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe when you die, because when I think of when you're like, that 25 to 35, I'm like, dude, that's both TikTok and Instagram,
Yeah, no,
right?
exactly.
And so maybe when you're doing the posting and the reels, you just take the copy and throw it on there just to have it on there.
Yeah, I kind of started doing that, but I'm not like too worried about it. I should, why not if I already have the video? But when
Yeah.
TikTok was like, oh, TikTok's gonna go away, a lot of the creators on there were like, I don't have a following on Instagram, like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of like that,
Yeah.
just focus where
And I
it's
bet
bringing you
I didn't
business.
ever looked at the stats, but everyone knew that Instagram was just going to get more, not maybe more users, but just more usage of the
Hmm.
platform because most people had the dual accounts. They just
Yeah.
weren't using it as much. So then
Hmm.
usage was going to go up.
Yeah, it was like a slap in the face to everyone. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
I should post on both,
Right.
just
Yeah.
in case something happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never, I mean, Meta's not going anywhere. TikTok might still go somewhere. You never know.
Yeah, we don't know.
So, other than the social media 14 months ago, is there anything else that you've changed that have been like very turned it into that relationship based, fear based referrals?
Um,
Or what other things do you
for
do for them that keeps that going?
for Sphere, it's mainly just that, like
Mm-hmm.
social media and like going and doing things, out in public and
Mm-hmm.
socializing and networking.
Yep.
But that's been the main source, just people coming to me. And then otherwise, my team leader Alex says you need 4 legs to your chair to make it stand.
Okay.
So
So there's
social
one.
media, yeah, social media is one that I also hope to bring, like people I don't know. So then Sphere, and I do like direct mail and a lot of letters
What's
and
that look
open
like?
houses. Um,
Let's stick on that stool for a while. So what are we doing there? Because I've
for
heard about
direct
these
mail,
letters. Yeah.
for the letters, it's I do my neighborhood, so I have postcards that I send out, which is one thing, and then I do expired letters for expired listings, where I kind of audit the listing, write a post-it note on there, and then I send it in the mail. And
That's
it's
cool.
yeah, so it's actually getting some good traction.
I've heard good
Yeah.
results of that from
Hmm.
multiple people. So with that, what's the rhythm or frequency? So a postcard one month and then the letter the next month, or how do you do that?
I do a postcard every month to the neighborhood that I selected, and
Okay.
then the letters I try to do like 20 a week if I can.
Wow. Okay.
It's
Because
not
that
always
takes some
that.
effort, right? You got to
Yeah.
audit the listing, write the post-it note, handwrite the
Yeah.
envelope.
Yeah, and I could just like pump and dump them, but I have them in a spreadsheet so I can keep track of who's calling me and like at the end of the year see how the conversion was.
And
But
how long you been doing that?
since like November, December
Oh, that's
maybe.
a
So
good
not
time.
yeah,
Okay.
not very
Yeah.
long.
Have you had appointments or closings or
No closings. I'm about to go out with the first buyer this weekend,
great?
and then I'm about to go tour a listing for a listing
Oh,
appointment
fantastic.
tomorrow. Actually,
Wow.
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty quick. That's like less than 6 months
yeah.
to already have a couple prospects going.
Mhm.
You know, they say normal farming is like 18 months to get two
Yeah,
deals.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's
So
great.
that's why I'm playing both fields. I feel like the personal touch of actually handwriting something
Yes.
and the envelope too
Yep.
is kind of what speaks to people.
Yeah.
I had one guy, I have another one that I'm gonna meet with in the summer, and he called me and he said, "Okay, you got me. I've never responded to one of these mail things that I get. I usually just throw it away." But,
Nice.
what's going on here?
Yeah.
And we had a good conversation.
Well, again,
Mhm.
I like it. You know, you that it's an audit like specific for that, so it's not canned.
Mhm.
It's handwritten, so they're
Mhm.
gonna open it. Like
Yeah,
I love
it's
it.
just feedback.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Do this. It's think of in the mind of a consumer. You open your mail. I don't know about you, but I open my mail and I open it right by my recycle bin.
Mhm.
Right. I literally
Oh,
lift the
yeah,
lid.
yeah,
I open it up,
yeah.
and I'm like, toss, toss, toss. No, I still see it and go, oh, Nikki's still doing real estate, right?
Yeah,
But if I saw it
exactly.
and it was like an eye grabber, I'd be like, oh, and then read it or whatever. But when
Yeah.
I see the envelopes that have the label and a meter,
Mhm.
I'm like, it's impersonal. So I'm like, it's probably not. And then I always like feel
Oh,
it.
yeah,
I'm
the
like,
meter. I
is
know
there
what you're
something
talking about.
plastic on it?
Yeah.
I rip it up.
Mhm.
But if there's a stamp and it's handwritten, then I'm like, oh, now I always go one more step. I look and go, is it handwritten or is it a robot?
Oh, I've done that
Right?
before
Because you can
because
tell. You can
I feel
tell
like
if
some
it
people
was
don't even know that's a thing, but it
yeah, well,
totally
because
is.
I know. So
Yeah.
I'm looking, I'm like,
We know
oh,
too
that's
much.
fake,
Yeah.
right? So then I rip it up.
Mhm.
So I think, okay, so if I was the consumer, how do I want to send it? Take the time to do the stamp, not metered,
Yeah.
and and do the
Yeah,
handwritten.
and it's valuable information. It's
Hmm.
feedback. It has some kind of call to action. Like,
Yep.
hey, if you're still interested in selling or if you want to look at offers, give me
Hmm.
a call.
Yeah.
And
Now,
that's it.
what's the postcard?
I just pull them from like Etsy and I just send them to my title company.
Okay.
So I just pick one every month
Okay. But
that has some kind
what's
of.
like an example of what's on there?
Well, I do just solds like in the neighborhoods for
Oh,
my
okay.
sales, so I do
Yeah.
those. But then for my neighborhood, it so far I just started in January, but it'll just be like themed for the month, like
Hmm.
Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day,
Oh, great.
whatever. But then it's also I like alternate QR codes. So, scan for a free home valuation or,
Ah,
scan to track your equity, which is my home bot
nice.
with
Yes.
you.
Yep.
So, something that they can have a resource
Hmm.
to go to.
Yeah, I like that. Okay,
Hmm.
good. Good. What you might try to do is also like, hey, follow me on social.
Yeah,
You have a QR code that go. Maybe you have a couple images of your social media on there.
yeah.
Same my HomeBot ones. I started putting images of the HomeBot, so it showed the equity
Hmm.
on there, and then we put that on there
Oh,
for
yeah.
them to get into.
That's good. I'm still like growing out of the hesitation with social media because, like, right
Uh,
now I have the comfort of it being mostly my sphere and people I meet now in
mm-hmm,
person.
mm-hmm.
But to send it to people that don't know me, I'm still, for
Just
some
do it.
reason, kind of
Just do it.
hesitant.
Just do it. Look,
I'm
we already
growing out
said
of
that
that.
they're going to filter it out, right? You're
Hmm.
going to send it to people that are going to open it and be like, I don't like the content. And then they won't follow you, and that's
Yeah,
okay.
and that's it.
And
And
I
I'm
never
not
would
gonna
have
know.
worked with them anyways,
Yeah.
right? But then you're going to see the people like, oh wow, I like what she said there. Oh,
Hmm.
that's good information. I'm gonna follow her. And then
Yeah.
then now they start seeing your stories. Then they're like, oh my gosh, she's a cat person too. And like that. And like, oh my gosh. And then they hear you tell a story about a renter and fixing their credit and getting them in a house. You're like,
Hmm.
whoa. Or I read one of your testimonials. Did you negotiate like 40,000 in concessions or off the price or
Yeah, off the list price. It
like
had been
that's
on
a
the
nice Google
market.
review.
Yeah, that was a good one. It had been on the market like 3 or 4 months, I think, and it was sitting at 500K. I think they already dropped the price too. And we went in at 450 and we settled at 460 and we got them 40K off.
Not a bad negotiation.
Well, yeah, and I sent all my like I was like this is what I'm looking at. So I'm not sure what you guys were looking at when you priced it, but this is why we're offering this and share this with your clients and then they were reasonable.
There you
So
go.
it worked
Well,
out.
there's an
Yeah.
art to negotiating, right?
Oh yeah,
I don't just
absolutely.
I didn't think you would just throw it out there and say, let's just throw a dart in at 450.
Oh yeah.
But some people do that. They just throw a number, and I'm like, where'd you get that number from?
Yeah, or they like don't call before, or you
So you
gotta.
call before making the offer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
Do you
hey, they
ask some
like it, we're gonna write
questions?
something up. Yeah, if we have questions, or if I always want to. It's a team effort to get a deal done. So I always ask them like, is there anything they're looking for,
The
besides
seller.
price? Yeah.
Like it. Yep.
Um,
What's important to the seller,
yeah,
so I
like
can
if there's a
craft my
move-in
offer.
date or if there's anything weird circumstance.
Uh-huh.
So I'll give them a call, let them know, and then when I send it, I'll call them and explain the comps.
Great.
Yeah, be like, hey, I sent this all in an email, so you can send it to your sellers, so I can justify my price. I don't want to offend anybody.
That's
This is
so
just what
professional.
makes, yeah, this is just what makes sense to us. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I love it.
Hmm.
Do you ever, so when you're, what's some of the things that you've had them come back? I get like move date, or, what other stuff have you seen that's important to a seller?
Usually it's just close of escrow, price, whether or not they can give concessions, and sometimes if they need like a post possession,
Mm-hmm.
if they're still living there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not super common right now because everyone's really motivated, the
Yeah.
sellers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
everything's
you're
kind
right.
of
It's
sitting.
something, everyone just has their own
Yeah.
desires, but the only way you find out how to craft your offer the best way is to ask the right questions.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
powerful.
And usually there's not anything. It's really simple,
Mm-hmm.
price, move out date, whatever it is.
But I
It's
have
more like
so
if
many
the
people that don't ask, and then we
yeah,
get a contract like 10 days after it was written, and we're like, what happened? They're like, oh, forgot to CC you guys, or,
yeah.
oh, yeah, they didn't know it was in their inbox.
Oh
We're like,
yeah,
oh,
there's
what
an
happened? And we're getting it 10 days in.
that's crazy actually.
Oh, yeah. We've had plenty of those.
Yeah, there's an art to, being a good person to work with, I think, and that comes with being organized and having really good communication and treating them how you would want to be treated if you were on the other side, Like it's just business. Everyone's just trying to get the best
Those are good
terms
standards.
for your client. Yeah.
Yeah. But like we said before, if I come out of school, and whether I'm a LO or realtor, and I go on my own and I don't have any training, any mentorship, any leadership,
Yeah.
good luck. Like you're not going to learn to do that,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And
It
these
can be
little things that you
messy.
learn over a 5 or 6 year stint of, now we call just because the email might have gone to spam. So I
Yeah,
think you got my offer,
that's so true.
and even if I call, people are scanning voicemails and not answering, and
Yeah.
then they're like, okay, and then they forgot to check their voicemail or whatever. So then you
Mhm.
shoot them a text, hey, left your voicemail, send in an offer on Maple Street. Just want to make sure you got it. Sometimes we go
Yeah,
to spam. That's professional. That's
exactly.
properly representing your client.
Yeah, definitely. Like back in the, 30 offers per one house days in 2021
Oh my
and
gosh.
2022. 2022 is when I started doing more listings, and we would get like 10, 15 offers on a house sometimes, and only like four agents would call. And
Wow.
I would put it on a spreadsheet and be like, who did I talk to? Who didn't I talk to? But it's just
Really?
crazy if, especially in a competitive market, to
Yeah.
not do something very easy to do, which is just call the agent and let them know and try to build some rapport. Because I can tell when someone's going to be good to work with,
Mm. And that's a factor, right? In
Yeah, no,
accepting the offer.
definitely.
Like, yes, you have to present all offers to the seller, but you also get to talk to them about, hey, just so you know, like this one called me,
Yeah.
verified. I know it's 2,000 less or
Mm-hmm.
5,000 less. This one hasn't called me, hasn't returned my call. I tried to call the loan officer,
Yeah.
can't get in touch with them either. I'm recommending this one.
Yeah, exactly. And if there's two offers that are exactly the same, and you've had a good conversation with somebody and it's pretty much equal terms, then you're probably going to go with that one.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, that matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just want to pump and dump offers and clients and just make money, and they don't think about the relationship aspect of the business
Hmm.
and the fact that sure, we're salespeople, but it's also a service industry, and you're taking care of the largest purchase or sale of someone's life,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it's
and like you said,
not
it's
just
inefficient.
another number.
What if
Yeah.
you could write one offer and get it accepted versus five with no communication and one
Hmm.
gets accepted?
Yeah,
What a
exactly.
waste of time.
Yeah, you want to do everything you can. You want to leave every situation always saying, okay, well, I did my best and I fought for you guys, and that's all I can do.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good clip. Okay, so going back to your testimonial and your card, that'd be great to take that, like a screenshot of that, and that could be on your
Oh yeah,
postcard too, right?
you're
So
totally
I put
right.
2 or 3 testimonials that go
Mhm.
out. That can also be part of my listing presentation, buyer consultation. I'm
Mhm.
showing third party validation rather than saying,
Yeah.
hey, check out my Google reviews. Like one of your slides
Yeah.
or one of your things in your folder is, hey, check out some of my testimonials that people have said about me. You can
Yeah.
check it out later, and then you're reading about that. So
Yeah, I do it in my listing presentation and my buyer
good.
packet. But that's a good
Now we
idea
add it to the
for no,
farm.
yeah, it's a good idea for
Add it to the
postcards because
farm.
that's now it's easier to get reviews with my sphere. I'm not like chasing down people,
Mm-hmm.
because they're people I already know, and
Yep.
they, I've been getting more, and everyone's so nice.
Yeah, that's great.
It's so nice to work with people that you like and you
Yeah.
respect. Yeah.
And you're doing on the social channel, you're attracting all that. One more thing on that testimonial one is you can do like a reel that's got like you in the background, and then it has the
Oh,
testimonial in
like a
front.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've
and
seen
then you
those.
make a little
Yeah.
comment, but it's just a reel.
Mhm.
But then that reels are the one that goes to your non-followers. So now your
Yeah,
followers
you're
see it,
right.
but probably 80 to 90 something percent of non-followers actually see
Mhm.
that. And
That's
so
so
that's the
true.
power of
Giving
reels.
me some content ideas.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what
Yeah,
we
it's
do.
what I do. Yeah.
Well, so now that's 2 stools or two
Two
legs to your
legs.
stool.
Yeah.
So what's the next one you want to talk about?
Um, I want to say open houses, but I'm
Okay.
not doing them as much as I want to do them.
All right. How many are you
But,
doing now?
it's I'm doing them like a couple times a month.
Okay.
I should be doing them twice a week,
Okay.
honestly.
What keeps you
But
from doing them twice a week now?
I think the planning aspect of it and just
It's a
getting
lot.
buried in my own to-do list
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on everything else more just kind of gets in the way.
Yeah.
I like to do them for my own listings, but when I have to go search and hunt and ask and do all that sometimes,
Yeah.
it kind of makes me shy away from it.
It's a lot easier when it's your
So,
own.
but it's good. You have good conversations if you know how to, guide people
If you
through
do,
an open house. If you do it well,
if
you
you're
don't
good with
just sit there and be
conversations,
like,
it's easy.
"Hey, welcome in," and you don't do anything. But if you have like the right tools, it can be a really good source of business.
I love it that
For
you have a
sure.
like there's a formula, there's a playbook, for what you do. So
Yeah.
let's talk. The other thing about the open houses, if you do too many, I get it. You could do one a day if you wanted to. It's a mobile shop. It's like you're off. I
Yeah.
get it. But man, like you said, to do it right and to do the follow up right, it takes a lot of time. So that would be
Yeah.
too many. So
Exactly.
like
So it's
one a
still
week might be
there,
good.
and I do them when I need to supplement,
Okay.
And lastly, I have, like some internet leads that I will call through.
Mm-hmm.
But internet leads, I mean, the conversion is like what, 3 to 5%
If you're
on like
lucky,
on like paid
one to
per
two.
click.
1 to 2
Yeah.
percent is the national average. So if you're
Yeah,
3 or 4, you're
exactly.
double
And I
that.
know that from the team I used to cold call for because we
Yeah.
had internet leads
Mm-hmm.
crazy, and they're like, "Okay, we hit 3% conversions,"
Yeah.
and I
Yay.
was like, "Sorry, what? Like I have to call this many people?" So that's why I try to
Yes.
do the more, people coming to me aspect of
Right.
business
I
because
was just
it's just
coaching
so
someone
much
that said
rejection.
92% conversion. 92%
For what?
conversion for their leads. And I'm looking
Oh,
at them,
wow.
but they were all relationship.
Oh,
They were
okay.
all
Yeah.
all realtor, builder, VIPs, business people. She's like, oh,
See.
my conversion's great because she's been established for like 20 some years,
Mhm.
but she's really worked intentionally on her business to work
Yeah.
with the right people that refer the right way.
Yeah.
And that's just how she built.
That's why people say it's a relationship business,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
you could constantly call leads or have a VA or just have that be the only thing you do, but how many of those people are, going to be your people that stick around?
Right.
And the people, when someone refers you a client, it's, handed to you on a gold platter, and it's the
Mm-hmm.
best feeling in the world. So if you have people
Yeah.
like that in your life, you need to dump love into them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep them really tight.
Yeah.
And you don't need a ton of them to do enough business to hit your goals.
Yeah.
Like I don't need 100. You could have like 25, like
Mhm.
solid relationships, right?
Exactly.
That refer you a good amount of business,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what your goals are. So going back to the open houses, so you do a couple a month. Do you have people like sign in when they come in, or how do you gather their information to follow up?
Sometimes I do sign in, sometimes I don't. But
You're just going with how you feel when they come
yeah,
in.
I like to actually just have like a conversation with them and give them some kind of value while they're there.
Yep.
So, hey, if you don't like this house, here's 10 other options just like it, within a mile radius. Like, would
Oh, I
that
like that
list
one.
be something that you're interested in? Or like has someone sat down with you to actually explain to you like what it takes right now to buy a house? you know,
Great question.
versus just shopping and then you know, dealing with that later.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of have really good trigger questions that I ask.
I love that.
And then they either open up or they don't, or they have an agent or they don't, you
Yep.
know. And a lot of times they do, but
If they
sometimes
do
there's
want
the
your list
one.
of 10 properties or however many you have that day, like how do you give them the list?
So I have like a QR code
Mm-hmm.
usually. I'm a big QR code person
I
because
like
they're
it.
so easy.
Scan there.
Yeah, I just do like the selected list on MLS and do a QR code,
Yep.
and
And then that captures their
or
information.
or yes. So I have like a flow desk lead capture page where they can
Okay.
put in their first name, last name, email, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll email it to them. Or if we're just talking, I'm like, let me text you the list.
Okay.
So just
Cool. I
depends. I
love it.
switch it up every
Yeah.
time just to kind of see what feels good.
Yeah, good. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Well, now, especially coming out of COVID, a lot of people are used to now the QR codes for menus and things like that.
Yeah.
So the QR codes are great. And then I
Yeah.
had someone they put them in rooms. So
Mhm.
people come in and they don't like if they're talking to you or in
Yeah,
the
that's
same
what I
room
do.
as you, they
Yeah.
don't want to like you're right here. I don't want to skip right.
Yeah,
But
you set
if they're
everything
walking
up.
through the master and they're like, oh, there's the code again, or going
Mhm.
out to the garage, it's like beep,
Yeah.
and like what's that? And then it's takes
Yeah, I
you
have
to the
like the little acrylic
something.
stands. And I'll do
Yeah.
the same thing like track your equity,
Mm-hmm.
or scan for a free home valuation. And it's just like a Google
Yep.
page for like a Google question page.
Cool.
But
And
it
then
was
what's your
fun.
so I know it can be selected, but what's your follow up plan after? So you let's say you do an open house on Saturday. Okay. When's the next follow up with the people that you did get their information?
Same day, right when I get home. Thank them for coming to the open
Love
house.
it.
You know, next day, ask them
Sweet.
if there's anything that they're interested in, or if I can send them any properties, and then just try to keep following up.
On
What
it.
do they say? It's like 12 or 15 touches is the average, or
Yeah. Yeah.
something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So
It's a like 80%, 80 something percent of the of sales convert after the fifth to 12th contact.
yeah, that's
It's
what
like
it is.
some
Yeah.
average. Yeah.
So that's what I think about. I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
just even if they don't reply,
Yeah.
just is there anything I can do for you? Anything of value that you need?
Mm-hmm. Well, plus if they're out looking, like you were probably not the only open house they went into.
Yeah.
They might have already been looking online. Like they're in that world, and so just someone's gonna get them.
Yeah.
And so the first person usually has the best chance, and the one that follows up the most has the next best chance.
Exactly.
And with like you said, I like how you put it. Like I just like to add value. So the one that's
Yeah.
following up with value is just
Yeah, because I
lethal.
just want to help, like
Yeah.
I'm really actually just trying to help. Like, what can I do for you? Is there anything that you're like struggling with in this process?
Yeah, but you notice like most people are standoffish for the help in the initial part.
Oh, yeah, because they think we're like vultures, like
Yeah,
just trying to
car
get their
salesman.
business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we get the
exactly.
same thing. They're just like, oh no, I'm good. I'm just looking. Like,
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
can't, what are you
right.
looking for? You came into my house.
Yeah, it's like a defense mechanism. They
Yeah,
don't
it
even
is.
know that
It's
they
just a
like.
response. Like
Yeah.
I always say, like it's just a response. People are just like that. It's okay. You just need to like, hey, totally. Okay, take a look around.
Yeah.
Let me know if you have any questions. What brought you in? What house
Yeah.
in the neighborhood do you own?
Yeah,
And just some
exactly.
trigger questions, like you said, they get them to open up.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
just got to be prepared and have a plan.
Yeah.
Just follow your plan, and then you'll be set.
So in the internet stuff, so your last pillar, the last leg of your stool. So is there like a time block where you're going in to handle that, or is this something that just automatically goes and just kicks you appointments? How does it work?
So I have some leads that someone very generously gifted me because they were going out of the business, and they're just internet
Nice.
leads.
Okay.
And then from my team also,
Uh-huh.
and I'm still working on running my own. I can't decide if I want to spend money on that or if I want to.
I think you made up your mind earlier when you said I want to be in relationship and not at 1 or 2
Yeah,
or
but
3%
it's
conversion.
I like the supplement, like
Yeah.
to just have the extra. Well, if I just call these for an hour, a couple days a week, I could get something. It doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
So,
Well, would it be better to focus your attention on like higher converting stuff?
there's a lot of time in the day, so
Yeah, yeah.
just depends. So right now, like 1 to 2 days a week, I just spend an hour and just
Oh,
call
nice.
through them.
And
try
are
to
they in a
follow up.
CRM where they're getting dripped and
Yeah,
followed up
CRM.
on? Yeah.
We all know a lot of them don't respond or they're bad numbers or whatever it may be. So just
Mhm.
email drip, leave it alone.
Yeah. Hey, the stuff that doesn't take me a lot of time but can leverage through technology, through maybe some AI, it's retargeting, it's throwing some stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going through the social to try to connect you guys on social.
Yeah.
That can be stuff too because I know, when people raise their hand, they're the internet lead. They might be looking now and the most are looking further out. But during that time, they're all seeking information. And so
Yeah.
maybe some of them like your content and they end up coming through your DM
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
You're
they
right.
started as an internet lead. So
Mhm.
somehow getting that out there to the people, like through the
Yeah,
CRM,
like
maybe
funneling them
some of
into
your,
that.
yeah, maybe some
Mhm.
of you, like we talked about with the email, maybe your email goes out and says, hey,
Yeah.
check out some of my informational tips on buying and selling on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, I could
And then they
update my
maybe
email
see that.
drips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any more, like in your future? So when you look at maybe like your business planning for this year, was there anything else you set out to do different, or is it just improving all of those that we just talked about?
I mean, social media has been getting better for like the past 6 to 8 months probably, but all like the direct mail and the stuff that's kind of starting to convert is pretty new.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just focused on staying committed to my plan and
Mm-hmm.
hitting my goals and keeping track of what I'm doing to make sure it's working.
How are you tracking it?
So I track the letters I send out so
Okay.
I know how much they're going to convert.
Yeah.
And then,
So do you have like a spreadsheet of all the houses and dresses and then how many have gone out to each one? That kind of thing?
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I know like my neighborhood list and then I have the expireds so I keep track of all of them and
Great.
it's their names, the address, when it expired, if it was expired or canceled, what the price was, and the day I mailed it out.
Wow. Okay.
So that's why it's like a lot of upfront work and then I just mail them out.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
awesome. Okay. What about, and then tracking like the farming? Do you have that list of like, hey, how many are on the farm for the
I'm
postcard?
only doing 100 right
Okay.
now because I know it takes a while and I didn't want to
Yeah.
put that much money
But you
into
have
it.
that 100 and that's been going out since November.
Since January.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hmm. And I just have the list, I guess, and
Mm-hmm.
I can call them, and that's about it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever thought about doing any retargeting stuff where you take those databases, and then they're seeing your stuff on Facebook and Instagram?
I haven't, but it's something I'm working on. I'm meeting with another title rep next week, actually, to scrub lists, get emails, put it in my database,
Mm-hmm.
and try to, get in front of them more.
Because there's some software. I mean, you can do it in Facebook yourself
Hmm.
too. Like you ads account and upload the data, and there's a certain number. Like it just scrapes the name, phone, email, and if they have an account that's tied to that email and phone, then
Oh.
they will start seeing your content.
Oh, really?
So that might be something. It's just another layer of farming,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
no,
It's
it
like
definitely
digital
is.
farming.
Yeah. I guess that's going to be like the new
Hmm.
thing that we're going to start seeing a lot more, huh?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think people are already doing it,
Hmm.
right?
Well,
Like
yeah, you know about it.
yeah. I mean, you can you'll do it with stuff like if you I don't know, like we've done stuff where you can geographically target like the hospital, and
Oh,
if they're
yeah,
a
yeah.
doctor, they're going to see my doctor loan,
Hmm.
like that kind of
Okay.
stuff. But then you can also just have like your past clients
Hmm.
can be put in there, and then they'll just keep seeing you
Yeah,
all the time. Like,
yeah,
man, I keep seeing you everywhere, and you're like, yeah,
yeah.
you do,
Yeah, the
because
ads
you,
and everything's still a little unfamiliar for
yeah.
me because I haven't like ran any or like had to pull
It's
that
just a way to
information.
step up like the
Oh
farm,
yeah,
like mail
definitely.
them, call them, hold an event, do that. The other thing might be when you are sending out the postcards to have like the QR code go to your social sites.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna
Yeah,
do that on my next
just
one.
mix it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay, I
always
like.
try to switch it up every month, so now I need a new idea anyways.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then I like the the farming, the open house, and the open houses. I know that you can't control it all the time, but are you looking in a certain area that you're trying to do the open houses for, like price
Oh
point or
yeah, 100%.
yeah,
So, because I live right now in Arcadia Light, um, I'm actually moving to Midtown in June. So just like that general area,
yeah.
I want to work where I live, and I like where I live,
Hmm.
and I know where I live, and I'm familiar, and I want to be the expert there,
So are
or
you gonna
an
move your
expert there.
farming stuff?
No, that's where it is.
Okay,
So I'm only doing like expireds and like sending postcards out in this area.
okay,
So from like Midtown, like around like 7th Ave to Old Town,
okay,
and then between Camelback and McDowell. That's
okay.
where I want to be. So
Nice.
that's where I focus everything.
Good.
Hmm.
So I like that was hyper focused. You had
Yeah,
mentioned the
because
niche before,
I
but
mean,
like hyper focused geographically on what you want to do.
yeah, because I'll go anywhere
Hmm.
to do my job. But
Yeah.
if I
But
could
if
work
I'm
where I live,
choosing,
if I
yes.
could choose, I would stay around where I am.
Yeah.
'Cause
Now, have you thought? So, last thing, I know because we can talk for hours.
it's
If you would, are you going to target like small businesses or business owners and people that you can network with when you do that move?
I'm gonna send out like a whole new batch in my area
Hmm.
probably, and then that is something I want to do is reach out to small business owners and see if I can add like a, hey, here's $5 off. Hit this place,
Hmm.
and then we just like can join and send something out.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially if I'm going to be hyper focused in a certain geographical quadrant, right? Then, and I know the businesses in that area,
mhm.
I can say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I hope I hyper focus in this area. I'm actually wanting to do some giveaways for my open houses.
Yeah,
Obviously, people coming to my open house either live here or want to live here. So I'd love to offer your services.
yeah,
Can you offer me something? I'll make it on Etsy, Canva, whatever.
yeah.
And
Even if it's like 20% off or like
yeah,
10%
whatever.
off or
Free
anything.
dessert, free
Yeah.
ice cream, free coffee,
Yeah,
whatever.
anything.
Just I need
People
something.
love free things.
Yeah, free shirt to dry
Yeah.
clean, like something to get them into your store,
Yeah,
and then I'll make that little kit. That also can be part of my closing kit when someone closes on a house in there.
true.
I can say, oh hey, and here's a bundle of coupons and stuff for local
Mhm.
businesses, and then you could one up it if you like really want to go crazy. Is you go out with your phone and camera and you interview these owners or
Yeah.
managers. Hey, tell me what's special about your restaurant. How'd you
Mhm.
get started? Well, cool, cool. What can they have if they mention my name? Mention
Yeah.
Nikki.
Yeah.
And now I have I throw that QR code with a story about the business that goes on my farming
Mhm.
100 letters to all those people. And now they're learning about the small business. And then I
Yeah.
just then every month I'm just highlighting more businesses. And you just become like the local expert
Yeah, exactly.
associated with those businesses.
Yeah, and full circle to the fact that it's a relationship business,
Yeah,
so you can go out there and just make relationships and get business.
right. And I think that with that, you have the business owners make good money, so they're going to be buying houses.
Mhm.
And the business owners have employees who also want
Yeah.
to buy houses,
Mhm.
right? So
And they have
it's a
customers that come in that they might, have relationships with, regulars, whatever it may be.
exactly.
Mhm.
And it's hyper local. Like
Mhm.
you're right there.
Mhm.
So if they're doing anything, especially in that area, it's super efficient with your time.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. There's
Cool.
always like one more thing you can do
There
to one
is,
up it.
but rather than like what I like is it's not like how many legs to the stool can I have? It's how do I just take the ones I've got and just add a little bit more stability to each
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
right? Go a little bit deeper, be
Mhm.
a little more efficient,
Yeah, which
to get
is
more out of them.
yeah, exactly, which is why I put a lot of energy into some of them and the
Hmm.
other ones are, just never want to run out of anything. Let's say social media becomes not a thing one day for some reason. I want to make sure I have other options and not starting from scratch.
That's
So
right.
I'll keep them in my back pocket.
That's right. This is just the relationships will never go away. It's just how
Yeah.
people communicate adapts and changes. But
Yeah.
phone calls and face to face will never go away.
Yeah.
Like
Have my
that will never
phone,
go away.
have my CRM, have my relationships. That's the core of it all, really.
And that's just road to success.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for coming in today. This has been fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for
Yeah, I
having me. I'm
appreciate
glad
it.
I
Thank
finally
you.
did
Yeah, thanks.
it.